Hello everybody, welcome back, and in today's video I'm going to discuss how to choose the right real estate broker. I recently got a comment on my channel asking if it was pretty easy to find a real estate broker to sponsor you once you get your real estate license, and the truth is it's actually extremely easy to find a real estate broker who wants to sponsor you because most brokers will want you to join their brokerage. And the simple reason behind that is because if you join their brokerage and you sell houses, well, they're going to be making money off of you and your sales. So typically most brokerages want to have as many agents as possible, and obviously they do want them produced at a high level, but a typical broker is going to be more than happy to have you join their brokerage. So the trick is not finding a brokerage to sponsor you, the trick is finding the right brokerage, and that's what I'm going to be discussing in this video with 7 simple steps that you can use to find the brokerage that's right for you. And I'll give you my thoughts as we go through this process, and having been with 4 different brokers throughout the time I've had my real estate license, I think I have a decent idea of what to look for and what makes a broker good versus maybe not as good. And if you're curious in which brokers that I've been with, I started out with Keller Williams, then I went to United Brokerage for just a small amount of time, then I went to EXP, and now I'm currently with Real Broker, but I'm soon going to be moving to one of the other brokers that I was with previously. So one of the first things that you're going to look for is whether or not you want a broker that is remote versus one that is in person. And a couple good examples of these differences are when you compare someone like Keller Williams versus another broker like EXP. Keller Williams, as you probably know, has a lot of brick and mortar offices, so you can go into the office every single day and make phone calls, meet other agents, and work from the office if you would like to. However, EXP and some other similar brokerages have gone with a completely remote option where they don't have any brick and mortar offices, and you're going to do everything from your computer. All of the trainings, all of the meetings, everything is going to be done online. And that's either really good or really bad depending on your work ethic and your style. Some people just prefer to work from home and they're more effective that way, but in my opinion, I think probably a lot more people would be more effective by going into the office at least a small amount during the week. So my personal preference is I do like to have a broker that does have some offices, so that way you can go and you can work there, and you can also meet new clients there as well to have meetings with them or to have a buyer presentation or a consultation, whatever you need to do. Now, the second thing to look for in a broker is the amount of training that they have and the quality of that training, especially if you're a new agent. And the reason you want a lot of training in the brokerage that you choose is because, especially if you're brand new, you don't really know what you're doing. And even if you're a seasoned agent, there's still going to be things that you come across that you're not very familiar with. So you want to have a good broker that is going to have a lot of training, and ideally they have some of their top producers that are training the other agents as well, so that way you know you're learning from the best of the best. Now, the third thing to look for in the broker you choose is how successful is that brokerage. And you're also going to need to look at whether or not one branch of that brokerage is more successful than another. For example, if you're comparing 2 different brokers, you may have one that's, say, in Dallas that is way more successful than their other sister brokerage that's over in Fort Worth. And so that is going to have to play into your decision a little bit. Obviously, if you're planning on going into the office, you are going to need to make sure that you live nearby the brokerage, so you're not having to drive an hour just to get to the office. But you do want to make sure the best that you can that the brokerage that you choose is very successful and has a lot of top producing agents. Because if you want to be very successful and you want to be a top producer and you want to be a millionaire real estate agent, then you're best off by surrounding yourself with other millionaire real estate agents. Now, the fourth thing to look for, especially if you're new, again, is brand recognition. And that's simply because as a new agent, you're not going to have a lot of a track record to lean on, so you're going to have to lean on your brand or your market center's track record. So if you go with a really small independent brokerage, that may not be as helpful when you're just starting out as going with a big name broker that everyone is going to have heard of. Now, the fifth thing to look for in the brokerage is what kind of resources are they going to give you? And that is largely going to come in the form of technology. Are they going to have a CRM for you to use? Are they going to have your own custom-made website? Are they going to have any other tech resources that you can utilize to make your job a lot easier? And I mentioned those 2 mainly, the CRM and the website, because those are going to be the most helpful for driving your business forward, especially if you have a really robust CRM that you can use on a daily basis. That way you don't have to go pay for Boomtown or Sync or some other CRM that you're going to have to pay for on your own. It's really nice if your brokerage just provides that for you. Now, the sixth thing that you need to think about are the splits and the cap that your brokerage is going to charge. As I mentioned earlier, the brokerage wants to hire you because they're making money from all of your transactions. So you need to consider, do you want to go with someone like Keller Williams that has a 70-30 split, or someone else like EXP that has an 80-20 split, or someone like Real Brokerage that has a 85-15 split, or you could go with someone like United Broker who is just a flat fee per transaction. I've had all of those experiences with the different brokerages that I was at. And then you're also going to have to look at the cap that the brokerage has, because with Keller Williams, for example, you're typically going to have an $18,000 cap versus EXP has a $16,000 cap. So you're going to have to kind of weigh each of those things and weigh all of those splits and caps that you're going to be charged. But in my opinion, the splits and the cap really doesn't make that much of a difference. What you really want to look for is the training and whether or not there's some top producing agents there that you can learn from. Because in my opinion, it's best to, I guess, pay for that extra training by paying a higher split or a higher cap if that means you're going to be more successful in the long run. Now, the seventh thing you need to look for is just other miscellaneous fees that the brokerage is going to charge you. Sometimes you'll be charged office fees, sometimes you'll be charged desk fees or technology fees. How much is their E&O or errors and omissions insurance? And those are just the kind of miscellaneous fees that you need to know about so you get the entire financial picture of what it's going to cost to be associated with that brokerage. So those are my top 7 tips. If you do have any questions, make sure to leave them down below in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching.